What's going on, guys? Kigerr here, and today we're going to go over Black Widow for Dimension Duel. Her first main ability that we're really going to care about is right here, Trained Assassin Quick Step Strike. Hits 4 times, you're invulnerable during that time. Keep note that it is a close quarter combat ability, we'll go over that later. Next, we're going to go into Explosive Expert Flare Gun. You just throw it blind for 3 seconds. What blind means is whenever they click an ability or basic attack, whatever they do to you for that 3 seconds doesn't deal damage to you. It'll just say miss. Followed up by Widow's Wire Taser Net. Taser Net has a 9-second cooldown, snares them for 5 seconds. What snare means is they can't use abilities that require them to move. Like you'll see Taser Net's animation, she moves backwards. So they can't Taser Net after they're snared. They can't dodge when they're snared because that requires movement. They can't ult if their ultimate requires movement. It just really locks them down. Last is going to be Sticky Bomb. Sticky Bomb is really great. You toss it out, it does the initial hit damage, and then you can see each pulse of that is a damage tick. If they have high dodge, that's another chance to hit them for damage. Last is really your kill potential move, and this is Widow Sting Concentrated Fire. You spin backwards, shoot 3 times, followed up with a 4th big shot. If they dodge when you initially go for the skill, the 3 initial hits will miss, and that 4th one will still tag them. Now, on to the specializations. Your most important one right here, improvising. Decrease cooldown of abilities by 2 seconds when using an espionage device skill. The middle 3 abilities, Taser Net, Sticky Bomb, and Flare Gun, they are espionage device skills. So as you're using them, you become kind of a caster, just moving around the board because all 3 of the abilities make your character move, and you're just always casting an ability that does something to the opponent. Next, we'll follow that up with Sharp Mind. Increase your PvP damage by 29% for 10 seconds when using a close quarter combat ability, which would be Trained Assassin, the Quick Step Strike, for 15 seconds. That could be an entire Dimension Duel, or if you kind of play the long game, it's still over about 2/3 of the time. This triggers when you click the ability, so the close quarter combat ability, Trained Assassin, will take into account the 29% bonus damage. On to the next one, Secret of Spy, reduce incoming damage by 18%. Nice and straightforward. You're taking less damage so you can click more skills, get more dodges back, and just play the long game a little bit. The last one is right here, Custom Tactics. Increase damage dealt to single target by 21%. What does that mean, Kigerr? So if you throw an ability that can hit multiple targets and only hits one target, they will take that 21% bonus damage. If you don't like this one or the previous one we went over, the only other ones I think are worth looking at is down here, Receiving Intel. If they're under 50% damage, deal 25% bonus damage, which if you play the long game, just casting your skills over and over, this can whittle them down. The only other one is if you want to go hyper offensive and end the battle in the first 1 or 2 shots, that would be Fatal Strike. Increase mat crit damage by 50%. Now, this doesn't just give you 50% crit damage, this increases the cap. If the text is in red, you hit the cap. Currently, the cap for crit damage is 300%, so with this, it's 350% for Widow. On to the Omega cards, I'll do as I have been. I'll go over the best possible, and then I'll give you some other options. First 2 are going to be Captain Marvel for PvP damage increase, and Storm for PvP damage decrease. These are obviously the 2 best ones for PvP game modes. That will be quickly followed by 2 set 11, Spider-Man for attack, Widow for crit damage, 2-piece for attack damage, and the specials have 10% bonus stats than the other cards, so you're just getting all those free attack, crit damage, attack, attack, attack. Followed up by, it's actually interesting that the last two are not going to be special cards, and that would be this Thor card for attack and the Vote for Loki card for crit damage. As you can see, the 2-piece set bonus is crit damage. When you use Widow's Ultimate Vanish, it does make you invisible, but it also automatically crits the next ability. So we're not trying to focus on crit chance. You can obviously get crit chance from other things, but we really want to focus on crit damage and attack. If you don't have Storm or Captain Marvel, really you would want to go for this 2-piece here of set 11 of the Maestro card, Ultimate Skill Gauge Recovery. You're using Vanish more often, as well as right here the Crit Rate Captain America card. As I said previously, crit rate is not the most important, but you obviously want some of it, and you'll see that you'll still get that 2-piece attack damage. If you don't have Widow or Spider-Man, you can go for 2-piece set 8 for dodge rate. You would use this one for attack, as well as this one for attack, and then get that dodge rate for free. Only other option is set 5 right here. This is one of the really sneaky good ones, Captain America and Crossbones for crit damage, and this one for defense pierce. Some Iron Man like to stack a little bit of defense so they don't die as quickly, and this will help you shred them with the 2-piece for attack. Last thing to really get into before the tips and tricks are the costumes. Currently, my Widow on this server has Xanderth, which increases close quarter combat, which would be Trained Assassin. This is not the optimal one. Optimal would be Rise of the East. Next set down would be either Xanderth right here or Megardia, which will be best for your Quick Step Strike or Concentrated Fire. I get a question a lot of the time, isn't Hydra best for 1v1? And while it can do okay, those abilities, the espionage device skills, aren't there for their damage. They're there for the status effects they are applying. Another tier down, if you just want to use regular costumes and nano boost them up, you would want anything that raises Trained Assassin or Widow's Sting. Last, we'll get on to the tips and tricks. Really, the big tips and tricks are if you're against a Spider-Man, you want to go for your accuracy whenever possible. If you're unable to get accuracy, you're going to be spamming your middle 3 abilities as much as possible, just throwing enough skills that you're eventually going to hit Spider-Man. And when you do hit him, he kind of does fall over. Your second biggest obstacle will be Iron Man. And Iron Man, it's really a stat check. He's going to hit you with all of his abilities. He's going to do his full rotation, use his refresh, and then do his other full rotation. And then is your chance to strike. If you're able to play your taser net, flare gun, and quick step strike correctly, as well as tossing in a couple dodges, you're able to put yourself in a position that he uses all of his abilities, blows his load, and then that's when you can really come in on him with the concentrated fire. If he's flying around, he has half guard in the air. I would practice double jump. I will show you right here. If you jump and then jump again, she calls that. You can also run, jump, and then jump again, and you go a little bit higher, a little bit further, also a little bit faster, making it hard for them to see where you're coming. Your last major matchup will be another Black Widow, and the biggest advice I can give you is you can, whenever she does her Trained Assassin quick step strike and jumps through you, you can, through movement abilities, running, or dodging, get in a position that when she dashes through you, she immediately turns around and then does like a vehicle backup camera, looks in this area, and then if she sees a target, she goes to that target. If she doesn't see a target, just stops. So if she dashes through you and you can get behind her when she goes to look forward, then her dashes stop. She does her one dash, and then she becomes targetable again. So if you're able to keep getting your dashes through, all 4 dashes every time, and you're able to stop them at 1 or 2 dashes, that gives you a big leg up in the Widow matchup. Till next time.